One of the training sessions we did was actually running after me chickens and catching them.
I got it!
You're about to go in the ring with someone else who's going to try and punch you in the face.
If you don't move on a split second.
The referee says break, break, you step back. Do you want to continue or do you want to stop and quit? Boom, the nose broken. Your nose gets broken in the fight. Starts pouring the blood. You can't breathe through it. You're financially sound. What are you going to do?
I'm sorry.
On this video, I'm going to give you so many tips and tricks that I've not shared anywhere else apart from on my paid video packages and to people who work with me in person. These are some of the boxing trade secrets that are so valuable, and the only people that know these things that I'm going to tell you on this video are people who's boxed at the very highest level. I'm going to show you this as I break down Michelle Khare's amazing boxing documentary. Michelle Khare is a YouTuber that I helped train for her previous fight, and she's made this unbelievable documentary that's on YouTube, and the feedback she's been getting is amazing. This was honestly phenomenal. This is what YouTube is supposed to be. Incredible video. The storytelling, the emotions, the editing was way above anything in the industry standards. This is genuinely the best YouTube video I've seen in a long time. Every emotion felt authentic, not forced. And this is what people are saying about it. And yes, the video is amazing and you should definitely watch it after this. But I'm not here to talk about the storytelling or the editing skills or the emotion that it gave people who watched it. But I'm here to break down the training camp, the things that we did, the high level stuff that you're going to see in this video you're not going to see anywhere else. And also at the end, I'm going to break down the fight and the things that went right and the things that went wrong. So make sure you watch till the end, see the fight, see the result. I'm sure you're going to love this video. Now sit back, relax, get your pen and paper, and here we go. As you can see, the fight is about to start, but the fight doesn't start in the ring. The fight starts weeks, months beforehand. So let's go back to day one. This was the first time she come in the gym to do a training session with us. I love how she can't even put a bottle up with the gloves on. Again, relaxing, relaxing, do it.
I messaged so many coaches in the city of Los Angeles to work with me, and many of them said no.
So a lot of boxing coaches didn't want to work with a YouTuber because they've got an old school mentality where it's like, that's BS, that's bad for the sport, where I'm the opposite. I think YouTube boxing is great for the sport, and I'll talk about why in a little bit.
And ironically, the one person who said, I'll give you a shot, is a 2008 Olympic bronze medalist.
Please welcome Sunderland's very own.
I'm going to leave this bit on here because I love it.
The highest profile boxer we've ever had in the Northeast, winning an Olympic medal. He's back and looks better than ever.
He's the perfect resume of a person you do not want to F with. When I think of Tony Jeffries, I am extremely intimidated.
Not anymore. She's my mate now.
So when I train someone for the very first time, I take them over the basics of boxing.
And even though this is Michelle's first time boxing, as you can see with the footwork and the punches, she's pretty good.
If you see a punch coming or something coming at you, you've got to move. It's boxing, you've got to defend yourself at all times. You know that.
Okay.
Just go try.
So we did some shoulder and body sparring.
Think about this, so get in your stance. So which hand is closer to me? This one, it's got less distance to travel. So with you trying to throw a big wild right hook and you can't even land this one, chances are that one's not going to land.
Okay.
And it's common for people when they first start boxing is because they're right-handed is to try and keep throwing that right hand. But everything should work behind the jab. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on as well.
Try and get your range with your left hand, with your jab. Once you start getting some range shots in, then we can throw that one.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Makes sense though, right? If you can't land the left, how are you going to land the big right?
Just throw a fast left hand. Oh, that's it. Good. The hardest part of Michelle is going to be the dedication. One power, one power. This is going to be so hard for her. She's going to be waking up at 5 AM.
And the hardest part for anyone to have success in boxing is the dedication. But especially when you're so busy like Michelle, who's flying around the country or the world doing different appearances and videos all the time because that's what she does. She's a full-time content creator. So to dedicate your life to full-time athlete, it's going to be pretty tough.
She's going to be coming to the gym when she's sore and doesn't feel like coming to the gym. Give me more speed and power.
And the things that I'm doing in this first session, I wouldn't generally do everything like this with someone for the first time, but I knew the cameras were there. We wanted some eye-catching footage. And as well, I wanted Michelle just to know exactly what she was getting herself in for, doing this with me for 12 weeks, because we want to do a lot more of what we did there.
She's got to focus her time and energy on recovery outside of training.
Like I said there, in a fight camp, you've got to focus on recovery, because if you don't recover the correct way, how are you supposed to get the most out of your training sessions if you're not feeling right?
That's better. That's what I want. She's going to dedicate her full life to the sport of boxing.
And this tool right here was just showing her if someone's throwing punches at you, what it looks like. And you can see from her face there, she's getting a bit of a shock.
For the next 12 weeks, I'm excited to see if she can get through it. 2 time. Well done. Good. Let's get ready to rumble!
Influencer boxing now is huge around the world, and it's bringing so many more eyeballs to the sport. People who would never have watched boxing are now watching boxing because of these influencers. So that's one of the reasons why it's so good, and I'm going to talk about the other reasons in a little bit.
Tony has agreed to do a 12-week fight camp with me, which means I have 12 weeks to find an opponent and get accepted into one of these events.
That's the thing. She started this camp with the hopes of getting a fight at the end of the 12 weeks. But because she's 5'2", 115 pounds, very difficult to get an influencer to come and do that with her. Now here you see we're in week 4 of training camp. Michelle has been working consistently a couple of times a week with me, 2 or 3 times a week, and James Doyle, who's a great coach, up until this point.
And I block this, boom.
Woo!
Yeah. So this is one of my favourite combinations. With our hook 2, with our full body weights behind that one. Do it.
Boom.
Oh,
Love that combo.
That was solid. Again.
This really is one of my favourite combinations. Stepping in with that long lead hook, get the person's hands to open up, and then boom, getting that backhand straight through the middle, and you get so much power in this punch.
Training 6 days a week in the gym, sometimes 2-a-days. Coming home doing recovery, ice baths, having a professional chef prepare all of my meals to the perfect macro and caloric amounts.
Now Michelle is in a position and fortunate enough to be able to have a training camp like this. Hire some of the best trainers around. Hire a chef to help cook her food. Spend time on recovery, where for a lot of fighters, I understand that this is not possible because you've got to work full-time jobs in between. But I want to see it. The way Michelle trained for this and how professional everything was, including the food, the strength work, that recovery, is better and more professional than I trained as a professional boxer and most professional boxers train.
Canceling all of my social plans for the next 3 months. It means waking up early. It means dealing with the pain when it comes. And it means putting my best foot forward every morning.
So other than the boxing work, Michelle was doing her road work, her conditioning training as well by herself. And as you can see there, is that dedicated. She would get up at 5 AM and go run some steps. Now it's time for the first sparring session.
Ready
Week 5.
First sparring session. I think it's going to be quite intense. I'm very nervous.
And Michelle is nervous, which I told her it's very natural to be nervous. You're about to go in the ring with someone else who's going to try and punch her in the face. And we trained solid for 4.5 weeks before this point. And when it comes to boxing, if you want a fight, there's only so much you can learn by hitting the bag, hitting the mitts, doing the shadow boxing, doing the road work and recovery. To really learn the art of boxing, if you're training for a fight, you actually need to get in the ring and do some sparring. Now that sparring shouldn't be hard, and it doesn't have to be.
Not even breathing.
Good?
Yeah.
All right, good. So Michelle's first sparring session is going against Heather, who was one of the trainers at Box and Burn gyms, and Heather's got a lot of experience, and I think she's got like 20 pounds of weight on Michelle.
And generally when sparring, the more experience the person's got who's in front of you, the better it is for you, because they know how to pull their punches, take a punch, and got the experience to teach you. Whereas if you're going with someone else who's never sparred before, you've never sparred before, it normally ends up into a bit of a ding-dong, as we see in England, a bit of a scrap, and someone will generally get hurt.
It's been a while since I've been hit in the head pretty hard like this, so I think it's going to be pretty shocking. Because it's inevitable, right?
We're about a month into training, and this is the first time she's getting in there. I know she's very nervous, but again, we're in here to learn, not here to hurt each other and try and knock each other out. We've got 4 3-minute rounds. All right? 3, 2, 1.
Wait, question, sorry. Are there any other, like, rules or things we need to know?
No.
That's it? Okay.
Just boxing. Hands
Okay,
up.
cool.
That's it, a little bit of procrastination right there, because you don't know what to expect. You're going into the unknown. So Michelle's second guessing herself there, looking for, I think, the last piece of advice and instruction. And we're in there to box, to learn.
Hit and not be hit.
Hit and not be hit, just like I said. And here we go, round 1 of the first sparring session.
The first time you step in the ring to spar with another opponent, you've normally got a lot of nerves going through your body. Sometimes there'll be self-doubt kicking in, thinking, why the hell am I doing this?
Michelle's actually doing okay. She's landing some right hands, as you're seeing there. But Heather, with the experience, is just flicking that jab out lightly. And when you get hit with that light jab at first, it's like a shock to your system. What the hell is that? What the hell is happening? And that's when the self-doubts kick in, like, why am I doing this? But Michelle comes back with some good punches of her own.
Keep moving and feeling. Good.
And then as well, as you can see, Michelle's freezing up a little bit, which is very common for you to do when you're getting there in the first time. Because as well, you've kind of got to think for yourself, where a lot of mitt work and a lot of heavy bag work, you've got instructions and direction. But now someone's throwing punches back at you, you've got that split second to think for yourself and defend and come back with a counter punch of your own.
Keep our left hand high. You drop your left hand and you got caught. Hands up, hands up. Keep moving. Time. Good work.
And as you've seen there, she's throwing that sloppy jab. Coming back down here.
Great work.
Get in the corner. Deep breaths. Deep breaths. Good. As the round up went on, you got better. As you go, just stay relaxed, yeah?
Emotions are high. Someone's punching you in the face. It's scary.
Now think about this. She's jabbing her hands down here. You can hit with that right hand, but you need to bring your hands back to your face. If you're throwing her a jab and it's coming down there, she's going to counter. Bring them back to your face.
One of the most common mistakes I see in boxing, the jab and it comes down. We call that a lazy jab in boxing. But if you drop that left hand, you're going to get countered.
Deep breaths. 10 seconds. Work time. That right hand needs to steal.
It doesn't matter how good you look on the mitts. You step in the ring and face another opponent, completely different ballgame.
As you've seen there, she got hit, got that shock to the system and looked away. She never look away in boxing. But as well, I'm going to let Michelle off with this one because it's her first time in there.
The training is one thing, but applying the training in a fight or flight situation where you are going to get hurt if you don't move on a split-second notice, those are two separate things.
Well, Michelle, you're being predictable. Keep moving. It's good. Get that moving in. You're fit.
What I said there, being predictable. Standing here, throwing punches. Standing here, throwing punches. When you're boxing, you want to be moving and slipping and keeping your opponent thinking, which you're going to see Michelle do loads later on in this video.
Strong. Hands up.
Now, she threw that sloppy jab, got countered with a punch from Heather. Wasn't super hard, but it was like perfect technique, and there was enough power in that to shock Michelle and put her on her back.
Deep breaths. Is your head on it?
I guess. I'm not sure.
Deep breaths. Can you see through it? Did you get a black flash there? Huh? You did?
I mean, I closed my eyes. I don't know.
That's all good. All right, we're done.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
Michelle.
So when you get hit and something big happens in the sport like that, you want to stop sparring. You don't want to continue. Not only for your brain health, but also for your mindset. If I let Michelle continue there, I don't know what she's like. She could have got angry and starts throwing bombs at Heather, and that's when you start seeing people fighting in the ring. Then that would have happened again, and then God knows what would have happened. So it's best to stop. We're in there to learn, and that's what we've got to do. And that's kind of the last thing that I wanted from this, was for her to get knocked down like that. Because, you know, when you first start sparring, you've got to try and build your fighter's confidence. And with what happened here, I kind of blamed myself for this. Even though it was light sparring, I felt bad for what happened because I'm the coach, I'm the one in charge. This should never have happened in a sparring session, but it did happen. And boxing is hard, and Michelle had worked really hard to get to this point for the last 4 weeks.
Now the big thing is, what will Michelle do? How will she react to this? Will she quit? Will she think this was a mistake? Or will she come back and finish off the 12 weeks of training?
It was so frustrating putting so much time and effort into training and then feeling like it all amounted to nothing. None of my combos were working. I was fatigued, and I was so embarrassed because I got dropped in what was supposed to be a friendly spar. Especially because I'm trying to prove to Tony and to promoters that I deserve a spot on a real fight card. And this was the first time I genuinely considered just quitting altogether.
And Michelle said there, like, she genuinely felt like quitting. Like, who wouldn't?
How's your head now? Good?
Yeah. I'm
clear?
Yeah.
Love this music.
Let me ask you this. Do you want to continue this 12-week program, or do you want to stop and quit?
No, I want to keep going.
Of course you do. You're a fighter, a warrior.
She's a fighter, a warrior. Yes, love it. So because Michelle got knocked down, her confidence was low, and I had to try and build that back up. So we continued to work on the footwork, which is very important for boxing. It's the #1 defense out there. But also I started doing some sparring with her myself, but she wasn't allowed to hit me in the face. I was hitting her in the face. She was just hitting me in the shoulders and body, but I was going very light. I just wanted to get her used to punches going straight for the face before we jumped in and sparred with someone else. So we did this solid for like a week or so, and then we brought in a guy called Milo, who's got so much sparring experience in boxing, and he's similar height to Michelle as well. And right here you see she's sparring with Milo, who's a trainer at Box and Burn, and he's got a lot more experience than her. Like I said, people with more experience is better, so he can take it light, he can take a punch, he can teach her some things in the ring. So this sparring with Milo wasn't just good for her to learn, but it was great for the mentality and the confidence as well, sparring with someone like this. But what Michelle doesn't know is I was speaking to Milo before the spars, and I was telling him everything we needed to do to build Michelle's confidence, which was hit her, but not hard. And I really told him that this sparring session was to build confidence. And he did let her hit him, which he shouldn't have done. I'm not a fan of letting someone hit you in the face. I actually told him not to do that. But he did it in a way where he was kind of pulling, moving back out of the way of the punches. But what this actually did was give Michelle the confidence that she needed. And I remember after the first spar she did with him, I texted her just saying how well she did. And she said she felt like she was on cloud 9 after that spar. And I was like, yes, we've got her back in, now let's go. There was also a time where Michelle dropped Milo in sparring. You can see from this picture right here, the shot on her face, where he kind of let her drop her, but he shouldn't have. But again, it worked well for where we were in the training camp. Then we continued to train hard throughout these weeks, doing lots of boxing, quite a bit more sparring. And as you see Michelle here, getting in the ice bath. Ice bath's great for so many reasons. It reduces inflammation in your body from training, which helps enhance your muscle recovery. If you've got any injuries or niggles from boxing, it helps with that as well. And then as well for the mindset, you've got to be tough to get in an ice bath. You can see Michelle's face right here that it's tough. And I'm a huge fan of this sort of recovery. The agility ladder is great for hand, eye, foot coordination. I've done a full video on that sort of training. You should definitely watch that one after this one, because footwork is one of, if not the most important thing in boxing. If your feet's not right, your hands are not right, your defense is not right, your punches is not right. So get them right, and it's an absolute game changer. And as you're going to see now, Michelle's footwork is great.
I thought Michelle catch these chickens because Rocky done it.
So I had chickens in my garden, and I thought, Michelle, come up, let's do this for training. And one of the training sessions we did was actually running after me chickens and catching them. Now, do I think you should do that? Is there so much benefits for it in boxing? Probably not. But when you're in the middle of a long training camp, doing something like this was fun, get you moving. Rocky Balboa did it. So something like this was fun. It broke up the training camp, and it looks great for camera.
And if you've ever seen the Rocky movie, he was really good, and I want Michelle to do it.
So it was kind of like a joke.
Give me power. Let's do it. Go, 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 go. This one's an absolute killer.
So this one here, what we did is an absolute killer. We did this training for the Olympics, and what it is sprints. We're going to do 12 100-meter sprints. Sprint for 100 meters, turn around, back for 100 meters, turn around, back for 100 meters, turn around, back for 100 meters, 1 minute rest, repeat. Do that 3 times. Now remember, because Michelle's such a beast, after the 3rd time, she was exhausted, and what she said is, let me do 1 more. She surprised me with that. Week 8, working on that recovery, still very important to be consistent with that. Now, because Michelle is training like an Olympic athlete multiple times a day, 5-6 days a week, recovery is so important. So she was taking these ice baths. Now, another thing that you really need to prioritize is your sleep. Sleep is huge for recovery. If you sleep great, the next day your body's going to feel good, your mind's going to feel good. It's going to really prepare you for your next session. Now, this day and age, we're on the computers, we're on our cell phones before sleep, which is one of the worst things you can do for sleep. My wife, she created these. These are the J's blue light blocking glasses. And these prevent 99% of blue light that we get from our cell phones that keep us awake, that interfere with our sleep, and that overall affects our training. So if you are watching TV, you are on the phone before bed on the computer, I highly recommend you get yourself some of these. I wear them every single night, 1 hour before bed. And since I've done this, I've never slept so good. We even sent Michelle some of these for her training camp because I just know how important these are. So if you're on the phone before bed and you're wondering why you're not sleeping great, it's because of that blue light. So I highly recommend you get yourself some of these. You can get them on Amazon. Click the link below, J's blue light blocking glasses, and you can save 10% off Amazon if you use code VIP Boxing. So click the link below, enter in VIP Boxing, and save 10% off these great glasses. They're an absolute game changer for your recovery, believe me.
I've never met a boxer before who's scared of chickens.
I got it!
So there she is right there working with James Doyle, who's a great coach throughout this 12 weeks of training camp, putting in tons of sessions with him as well, working on different techniques, different styles.
I've had a few very promising calls. There are a couple different organizations that are interested. Hey, we got an offer from Misfits. I just want to check with you before we take it, but I just need to find this opponent.
And now after all this training and hard work, Michelle started getting a little bit frustrated because she can't get an opponent who's her size and weight. I remember she even asked me, you know, I've got this opponent. She weighs, I think she was like 25 pounds heavier than her, a lot bigger than her. And she was like, I think I should fight her. She'll come down, I'll move all the way up. And I was like, no, Michelle, let's just take it easy. Something will come up. She was so game and wanting her to do it.
I am a 5'2" female.
Now at the end of the 12 weeks, like she couldn't get a fight. So the idea was get back in with Heather, who dropped you in week 5, and you'll be able to see the progression right there of how far you've come and how good you've got. Because she did get really good in them 12 weeks. So this was it right here. And this was a big moment for Michelle in the training camp. Week 12, going back in against someone the last time you were in got put down. And I know that was on her mind throughout the full training camp. So to get in there and spar with Heather again to kind of overcome them demons that she had in the first one, I'm thinking, am I going to get dropped? Am I going to do better? And this time she did a lot better. She worked on different visualization techniques just for the sport. And she really did impress me with the mindset.
Boxing hopeful and finding someone who also fits all of those categories.
Just see there,
really
nice punch.
Time. Yes.
Now I want to do it for real.
Ooh. Ooh.
And I was very proud of her at the end of the 12 weeks.
And fight camp was officially over.
So that was it, the 12 weeks was up. Michelle went back to doing irregular videos. We kind of didn't know whether this video, what we're watching right here, was complete or not because she couldn't get an opponent. And then this happened.
And then when the chess boxing event happened in December, I saw Andrea's fight against Dina, and I thought it was amazing.
So Michelle asked me my opinion on the fight with Andrea. She told me Andrea was a lot heavier and bigger and had one fight. And do I recommend that she fights her? First thing I said was like, honestly, I don't think it's a great idea. You've got to put weight on. Your opponent's got to lose weight. She's already got that one fight experience. But if you want to do it, I'm here for you.
Creator Clash just announced Creator Clash 2. They showed the full card. It's happening in April and it's amazing.
It's happening! It's happening! I will be fighting Andrea Botez in Creator Clash 2. But here's the thing. Tony is becoming a nomad and traveling the world with his family.
We are leaving our lovely home in Los Angeles and I've just booked a one-way ticket to Thailand. Maybe you know that, maybe you don't know that, but I'm traveling the world. I'm actually doing this video from Tokyo, Japan. And I've created a family vlog channel. If you're interested in following my journey about traveling the world, you should definitely check that out and subscribe to that.
Now that the fight is secured, I have 8 weeks to reassemble my team and somehow bring this to the finish line without Tony. Tony! How's Europe? Is that where you are still?
I'm in Africa right now. So she called me, I'm in Africa, told me that she's got the fight. It was exciting because I knew just how much she wanted this fight and how much it meant to her, how hard she'd worked in them 12 weeks, even though she had months off in between. And she called me while I was in Africa and told me the big news.
My name's Kevin Watson and I'm taking over for Tony.
So like who she's going to work with. And because she'd been training with me and James for all of the 12 weeks, like months and months ago, there's Kevin Watson at Box and Burn, who is an unbelievable trainer. And he's the type of person that whatever he does, he's amazing at. But when it comes to coaching and boxing, this guy's knowledge is unbelievable.
My relationship with Tony, we are business partners. We opened the gym together in 2012, and now we're like brothers. Been through a lot together. I've got big shoes to fill, and I hope that I fill them. My reaction when Tony suggested and asked me if I would take over the camp for Michelle was, I was really excited, nervous at first, but I think I really got into coaching because I wanted to be that.
As you can see by Kevin's training methods here, just how legit he is.
And really push me to excel to that next level.
And if there's any influencers out there boxing who wants a coach in Los Angeles, I can't recommend this guy highly enough. So that was it. Michelle was continuing to work with James, who she'd worked with me in the previous 12 weeks, months ago. And then Kevin was stepping in as the head coach, taking over my role. And that right there is the dream team, as you're about to see.
We have the fight secured. 8 weeks from today against Andrea Botez. So Andrea is 4 inches taller than me and 20 pounds heavier than me. And how are we gonna do this?
The size is with her, but are going to be hard to hit. Your movement is going to make it hard for you to be hit.
That movement is going to neutralize anybody.
That's that great footwork right there.
She's going to throw these big looping shots. She's going to get exhausted. Now, understanding you're going to be fighting someone that's a little bit bigger than you, great. Let's maybe work on some strength and some power.
I need to get more confident fighting people bigger than me, so I have the privilege of getting to spar with Haley Sharp. If you've seen Creator Clash, you know Haley is a badass.
This was perfect. James and his wife Jo, who's a stud trainer, trained Haley for the first Creator Clash, was training Haley for the second Creator Clash in Box and Burn. The same gym as Michelle was training at. Now Haley's got that fight experience because she's had a fight before. A little bit taller than Michelle's opponent, a little bit heavier, perfect sparring.
I'm going to have to get very comfortable in the pocket.
Breathe, breathe, breathe. Just keep it simple. Simple, right?
The pocket is basically the radius space between the opponent's body and the end of their fist. So I'm basically gonna have to get in here, which is also the danger side.
Definitely the danger side. When you're in with a taller opponent, they've generally got that advantage because they've got that reach and you've got to go to them to land punches. It's very rare that you see a shorter back foot fighter counter puncher. You can see them, they are around, but generally when you're the shorter opponent like Michelle is, you've got to get inside, and she just mentioned there, which is the danger area.
The plan is to teach Michelle how to get inside that pocket, get in there, hit those body shots, and then come up top with Michelle's overhand right.
Boom! Now that overhand right was her best punch.
Our strategy is extremely high risk, but also high reward if I can pull it off. I either have to dodge a bunch of punches or eat a bunch of punches.
Now that was a beautiful shot by Haley Sharp. Great shot by Michelle. Then watch this. Boom! Look at that uppercut. If I'm Haley Sharp, that's my new profile picture. Sorry, Michelle. And she went down again with another right hand. Pretty heavy. Now, 4 weeks into a training camp, with only 4 weeks left to the fight, this is a very difficult thing for anyone to experience. But when you're a YouTuber with a massive following like Michelle and anyone else who fought on this card, and you're about to put your reputation on the line and get in a boxing ring in front of thousands, if not millions of people, the last thing that you want to happen is for you to get dropped on the floor or to get hurt in front of all these people. And now, 4 weeks before the fight, she's just done this in sparring with big gloves, with a head guard. The first thing that goes through your head when this happens is, I need to get out. I can't fight. And think of some sort of excuse to get out of there. But let's see how Michelle deals with it.
Sorry! He's back.
Now I came from Africa to Los Angeles for 1 day for an event, and I wanted to come to the gym, look at Michelle, see where she was at. I wanted to watch some video with her of her sparring and also watch some video of her opponent who had a fight in the past. And this was a good chance for me to catch up with Michelle, see where her mindset was at, because if the mind's not right, you know, you're screwed in this game.
Wasn't expecting that.
This is the 1 hour I get with Tony of my fight camp before the actual fight. So I'm gonna make the most of it. I'm so excited.
Always be prepared. If she's moving back, always be prepared for...
Right here, after we watched the video of Andrea, her opponent, one thing that we noticed in the previous fight, that was she was keep coming over a big swinging right hand. And that was doing damage, it was hard. And because Andrea is bigger and heavier than Michelle, and Michelle has been dropped now twice with her right hand, I really wanted her to drill it in her about keeping that left hand up. But Kevin and James had already been doing this. But then the more you can do it, the more you can get into the head, there's less chance of that actually happening when you get into a fight.
1, 2. We're not going that way.
It's another thing that I was trying to get into her head was only move to your left when you're out of distance. Or if you've got to move, you've got to keep that left hand up, because Andrea's big swinging right hand is what we didn't want that to land.
Do it. Perfect. Good. Can't hit you.
As you're seeing there, she can't get hit now.
Yes, look, you've gone. You disappeared. Excellent. Good. Jab. Jab.
And one thing, when I done this session with Michelle, I was so impressed with the work that she'd put in, that the work that Kevin and James had been doing with her. And now I teach her this little psychology trick.
So wait and fight. That's your break. Right. Step back.
Ooh.
See that there?
Yeah.
Right.
This is next level, guys. Next level. I've never done a video on this before. It's a secret.
What we're going to do is the referee says break, break, you step back. I'm coming forward, okay. Right? Now, what's going to happen? The referee's going to say to you, whoa, I told you, step back, step back. He's going to tell you off. But now you're in her head like, she doesn't even want to break. She wants to fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now that's something the Russians used to do. When the referee break them up, they would stand there, and now it's getting in my head, this guy just wants to fight. And the referee would tell them off. Then the other mind trick was this, and Michelle done this great.
And you're here like this.
The red belt's gonna go. She's ready, she's moving, she's moving, she's moving.
She's gonna be like, oh, f***. Michelle wants it. Because this is what will give you the advantage. Little things like that.
I see little things like that, but these little things make a huge difference in boxing. Getting into your opponent's head.
If your nose bleeds, it's common for someone to do it. Never do that. My coach will go f***ing crazy if I wipe my blood. I'll look at that. Because all it takes is boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
You should never look at blood if your nose is bleeding. I guess if you're right out of range, you can look at it. But what tends to happen with beginners and novices, when you're in the ring and your nose starts bleeding, you'll wipe your blood and you'll be, oh no, I'm bleeding. Boom. Next thing, you got being cracked on the side of the head. So I just wanted to tell Michelle that there's all of these little things that we spoke about that's missing from the video, like visualization. When you're around your opponent in a venue, when you first see your opponent, when you're at the weigh-in, every interaction you have with your opponent before the fight, we've got psychology tricks for that, and that's what we were doing.
How you doing?
So I was in Tama commentating on the Creator Clash event, which was perfect.
Good. The fight starts when you land. Those mind games start right away. That's the first time the fighters will see each other. I think that's when a lot of the nerves start to set in.
Exactly what Kevin said.
That anxiety, you can feel that anxiousness.
Good. It's just crazy that like every interaction, every moment is part of it.
Exactly what Michelle said. Now this is next level.
So Andrea released a video that has micro clips of her training. You want to know how crazy I am? We hired someone to watch every single one of her streams and note any facts or mentions of the fight or her training in any capacity.
To have success, you've got to be obsessed. I genuinely believe that. I was obsessed with my opponents. Just kind of like you're seeing here with Michelle. I would be looking on their Twitter feed, looking for anything at all that I could see in videos of them. I'd be studying their previous fights. I'd be looking on all different platforms for different things that they said, just to get an idea what their mindset is. Because if I can get that 1% advantage over anyone else, I want that 1% advantage. And Michelle was one step ahead. She already did that. She hired someone to do this.
And what's funny is that I know they're intentionally short, but it reveals so much. In the still image of her sparring, we saw that her stance is more leaned over and profiled to the right as opposed to forward facing, but we've definitely made adjustments based on.
And this right here is the reason why I didn't have much footage of me training as a professional boxer, or even many pictures. I wouldn't let photographers come to the gym and take stills of us, because if someone posts a picture of me with that low left hand or with my chin a little bit high, I'm afraid that my opponents will see this. And that obsessive behavior is why I've had success in boxing and I guess life after boxing. And I think Michelle is the same. And now Kevin and James adjusted the game plan a little bit because of the tiny bit of video footage that she's seen.
So f***ing sick of eating.
Now Michelle had to put weight on, Andrea had to lose weight for this fight, and this is something that I'm not a fan of in boxing, but it was happening. And I'm not going to go and say to Michelle before the fight, you know, Michelle, I'm not a fan of this. We shouldn't be doing this. I'm going to say, yeah, Michelle, eat them bloody pancakes. Get that weight on.
Doesn't matter how much either of us train, because this morning, it's all about me eating these pancakes and Andrea being in a sauna suit somewhere in this hotel.
So the morning of the weigh-in, Michelle got up, ate pancakes, drank a lot of electrolyte drinks, while her opponent was, you know, somewhere trying to get weight off. The weigh-in event was amazing. Now this is the thing about this Creator Clash event. I think it's different to other influencer boxing events, but the entertainment value that you get from this is second to none. These YouTubers and content creators know how to entertain. So compared to a boxer who's had zero media training, who's not used to being on a camera, what we normally hear from boxers says, yeah, I can't wait till October 23rd for the fight. I'm in the best condition I've ever been in. That's it. But these guys, these YouTubers, for this event had me laughing me head off. It was entertaining. For anyone who says YouTuber boxing spoiling boxing, it's like, no mate, watch one of these fights. Get your head out of the old school mentality. You've seen the work that Michelle's put into this. And as well, they can entertain.
Looks like an overgrown hobbit. You think he'd actually for a second and be like, maybe I cursed him when I said he's gonna.
This guy Harley had me laughing my head off.
We got amazing access to this wonderful gym.
So this was a couple of days before the fight.
Tell Andrea, but I've been having some issues with my ankle. I rolled it when we were sparring one day.
All right, good.
I think so.
We wanted to do both feet so that no one thinks, hey, one ankle's worse than the other, so we taped up both feet.
Now look at that by Kevin. Again, the psychology. I remember when I got in the ring and I seen my opponent one time, he had a strap on his knee, and my coach would be like, see that, Tony? He's got a bad knee. He's got a bad knee. He hasn't been doing his road work. You're fitter than him. You're stronger than him. And that gives me confidence. The last thing you want is to give your opponent any confidence. Whereas if he had two of them on his knees, it would have looked like he just wore them all the time. And what Kevin's just done there, strapped both their feet up so no one knows the wiser. Because even though the gym was private, everyone in there was a close-knit group, we don't want anything getting out to Andrea or Michelle had a dodgy foot. We don't want to give her that confidence.
Good.
So when I was watching Michelle in her last training session, I was so impressed with how well she looked. I can just see how much work that Kev's put in with her. She's looking very sharp, like a professional athlete. There was people in the gym coming up to me saying, wow, she's looking great. Professional boxing coach who owned this gym was really impressed with her. And I told her that, and hopefully that helped give her a little bit of confidence.
When you're cornering someone, you are not a safety net, but you are a sense of security and safety for them. You're that voice that they've been listening to. And
that's exactly right what Kev said there. Your corner is who you go to. They're putting all your trust in the corner. Whatever the corner says, and one wrong word from a corner can mess your full mindset up. Because if Kev said one little thing like, I just seen Andrea, she's looking sharp, or, oh, you feeling all right? You don't look good today. Or, come on, you can do better than that. A few days before a fight. Them little things can actually win or lose you a fight. And the level of training that Michelle is getting, like I said, it's next level.
A lot of people think that boxing is a one-on-one, just solo sport, but it is far from that. You really need a strong team. We're all there wearing t-shirts that support Michelle.
Yeah, once you're in that ring and the bell goes, you are one-on-one with your opponent, but you're listening to what your corner says. You're putting your trust in your corner. And like I mentioned at the beginning, the fight starts 8 weeks before, so you're putting all of your trust in your corner. It is definitely a team sport. Now, one thing that didn't get shown on this video was the night before the fight. We went to the venue. We got in the ring with Michelle. And this is great for anyone to see before the fight, because that night when Michelle got back to her room, she can lie there and visualize and think about her going to the venue the next day, getting warmed up, walking down to the ring with a crowd screaming, getting in the ring, and then the fight going the way the fight goes. Now, the benefits of this, when you come to do all of this on fight night, you've already done it in your mind. So for us to be able to get access to the ring the night before is just another one of them little but huge things that give you that advantage over your opponent.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back once again.
So here we are at the Amalie Arena.
From the Amalie Arena, here for Creator Clash number 2.
And that's me right there on the screen. First time I've ever commentated on boxing, and what a great experience that was.
It is the legendary Boxers Now coach himself, Boxing Burn's finest, Tony Jeffries. Tony, how you doing, man?
Mate, I'm so excited to be here. Like you mentioned, the energy in this room is electric.
Now look at that, guys. Look at the crowd. Thousands and thousands of people.
Just look at this arena.
Yeah, I can't believe it. I boxed in the semi-finals of the Olympic Games and it was nothing like this.
And like I mentioned there, I boxed at a very high level and it wasn't like that. So look at how good YouTube is for boxing, bringing this many eyeballs on the sport. And if you're genuinely a fan of boxing, you will just see that. This event was like nothing I've seen before. And I just want to give a big shout out to Ian and Anissa for putting this on. I've been around boxing my whole life. I've competed on the highest stage. I've cornered UFC fighters who have fought on the main event on pay-per-view cards. And I can honestly say this event was as good, if not better, than anything I've ever seen. And also it raised millions for charities. Ian and Anissa, you should be proud of yourselves for what you've done. Now, 1 hour before the fight, this is when your mind's really playing games with you. You see Michelle there watching the other fights. So it's really on the coach here to keep you calm and keep you relaxed. And Kevin did a great job of doing this, especially when you're seeing the other fights ending soon, people getting smashed in the face, and you're about to do that.
Okay, I gotta keep her calm, I gotta keep her, relaxed. And you won't be in this position. She will be.
Lovely, even more great coaching there. Coaches generally don't do this.
I want to get Michelle out there and make sure that she sees the audience and just kind of gets those little bit of nerves out.
Now this is huge. Even though Michelle came to the venue the night before, like I mentioned, coming out and seeing what it's like with the crowd filled is great for your mind, because you don't want to just walk out there for the first time when you're going into the ring. Again, a lot of coaches don't bring the fighters out to have a look at the venue, to let them visualize what it's going to be like. Now I get it there, Michelle's been recognized from other people, which is fine, because she's about to get recognized of thousands of people. So again, it's all great for the mind. Now this is scheduled to be 5 2-minute rounds, which is a lot, considering when I boxed in the Olympics, all I boxed was 4 2-minute rounds. And as well, female professional fights, even though this is not a professional fight, females box 2-minute rounds as well. I also said to the commentary team, you know, I'm not going to be commentating on this fight. I'm too emotionally involved. I can't speak throughout the fight, and it would be unfair for me to just really call this fight, because I really want Michelle to win. And now I'm going to break down the fight, but you should definitely watch the full documentary of this. The link is below, and see how they've merged the training with the fight together. It's unbelievable. Now Michelle's ring walk was one of the best psychology tricks I've ever seen anyone ever do in all of my time in boxing. So Michelle's opponent was in the ring, who's a chess player, and her big rival in that chess world is called Gotham Chess. And as far as I know, they don't like each other really. Well, Michelle flew that guy out, and he led the ring entrance to the ring, and that's him right there. Her opponent, Andrea, is going to see him and be like, what the hell's he doing here? Just them little mind games. But she didn't end up seeing him until after the fight. So it didn't work the way that we hoped, but again, I just loved the thought behind that, and that was all Michelle's creativity. Now what you can't see here is what Michelle did when she got in the ring. She marched around, smiling, hands up, getting right next to her opponent, looking very confident, because your opponent's nervous inside, and if they see you're not nervous, them little things do get into whoever's in front of his head. Now Michelle was in front, we can't see on here, but she's in front of her, banging the gloves together, raring to go. And look at that, look in her eyes right there. And these are things that we worked on leading up to the fight, these mind games. Now respect to Andrea, she's 21 years old, she's so young. Now look at the eyes, the eye of the tiger, you telling your opponent, I'm up for this is a fight, we're in a fight. Yeah, YouTuber boxer, but we're in a fight.
The word of this moment is intense.
Hey,
intense.
Have some fun, show them what you're about, let's go.
It is time, gentlemen. Look at the intensity on both ladies' face. Round 1, here we go.
Here we go, round 1. Now the game plan here was Michelle to move her feet, keeping out of range. Moving to her right, away from the girl's big right hand. Now I want to watch this combination again in slow motion. It was lovely. And this is something that got drilled over and over and over again. So it's a jab to the head, just misses. Right hand the body to get her opponent's hands to come down, which you see there, they come down. Then boom, left hook, and the left hook landed straight on the chin. It was lovely.
Combination there from Michelle.
Now we see here in slow motion, boom, Michelle throws that overhand right, and it lands on the temple, which was one of Michelle's best punches in training.
Angles, like Tony said, moving away from the power hand here. Andrea's in a fight here, and she's handling an onslaught right now.
And that's perfect there. Look, Michelle's getting rough with her. It's a fight, you need to get rough.
My little smooth brain, I can't say for sure Michelle looks like a very experienced fighter.
And look at that, Andrea starts to cut the ring.
And now that was nice by Andrea. What she kind of should have been doing from the start is working on that big long jab. Michelle again looking for that overhand right and moving to her right, away from her right hand.
Most technical fight of the night so far.
It's looking that way. Both fighters honestly have a...
Because Michelle had success a couple of times with that right hand, she started really leading off with it and loading up a little bit.
The biggest shot she's thrown on the night.
Now Andrea's holding high here around Michelle's head. So where does she open? The body, so boom, boom. So Michelle hits that body, until the arms come down, boom, overhand right hand, and keeps punching. Now this is what you've got to do when you're boxing, which is perfect to do if you're in with a taller opponent. Now this is me doing it in one of my amateur fights. Hitting the body, hitting the body, hitting the body, hit the body. When his hands come down, boom, whip it over the top, and we see Michelle do it right there. Love it.
Nice right hand on the break there for Michelle. I'm telling you.
Now look at this, the end of the first round. Watch what Michelle does. Look at that, staring until Andrea turns and goes away. Another little thing that's just getting into the mind. Then she walks back in the corner. Now that's a thing that a lot of people don't talk about, is Mind games, yes, you use them before the fight. People say the fight is normally won before or after the fight because you're mind games, and that's not totally true. When you get into the ring, there's lots of different methods, like we've seen a couple already here, to continue with the mind games when you're in the ring. And there's lots more like that.
You are Michelle, that right hand, she's gone to it a couple times now, maybe starting to get a...
Great, lands that overhand right again, which is nice. And because she's having success with it, that's when she starts really loading up and trying to float all the time. Now Michelle threw that big overhand right on and she threw it for this thumbnail. And this position right here is that thumbnail. That's how smart this girl is. No, I'm joking, but it did work for the thumbnail.
Again, she is letting it fly.
And she throws it again. She's getting wild with that right hand, but it's the right hand that's done the damage in the fight.
Trying to stay in the middle of the ring here, not give up that pressure, because this is what happens when she does. Andrea, she's not intimidated by this.
Coach shouting, hands up, Michelle, what you got to do?
Pressure and then tags her with a right hand out of it, Tony. Andrea is either one shot or following up.
Now another big right hand by Michelle. Now respect to Andrea. She's fit, she's strong, she's coming forward. Another right hand from Michelle landed.
From Michelle at the end of the round, you want to talk about intent. Breathe.
And it's important that your corner gets you to breathe before they give you a drink. I remember so many times in my fights I'd have cornermen, as soon as I sat down, they'd stick water in my mouth. I'm like, no mate, get it out of my mouth. I want to breathe before I can drink, because that's the most important thing. You're not getting water in your mouth, but getting your breath back. And that's exactly what Kevin's doing. Getting her to breathe, getting the heart rate down, and then giving a sip. Where other cornermen might give you a drink as soon as you sit down.
Her right hand's really starting to come down. Stay fresh. Nice and tight. That looks so good. Keep those legs, right? Keep those legs.
And it was here, round number 3, where Michelle gets her nose broken. You'll see the punch here. Boom. Perfect right hand from Andrea, and it smashed it on the side of the nose, and that broke her nose. Now, let's talk about this. Your nose gets broken in a fight. Starts pouring the blood. You can't breathe through it. You're a YouTuber. You're financially sound. You don't need to be in the ring fighting. And you've got someone in front of you who's trained to punch you again in that nose, punch you again in the nose. What are you going to do? You're going to say, no, I'm done. I'm out. I'm finished. That's what, right? Why fight? See what Michelle does.
Blood seeping out of the nose here from Michelle.
Michelle didn't know it at the time, but that exchange broke her nose. Nose bleeding. Nose is bleeding. She stepped back, kind of wiped her nose a little bit. I could just see the look on Michelle's face. Beast mode was activated.
And what Kev says there, I seen the look on Michelle's face. Beast mode was activated. Then boom, Michelle comes flying over a big right hand. Now she's awake. Now she's ready to go. Now that sort of mindset, you cannot train.
A little bit of a swelling on that left eye of Andrea Botez. Eats another jab.
Another big right hand from Michelle.
Andrea feels that one. You can see
Andrea landed a great jab on the nose of Michelle.
Gentlemen, let's listen into the corner of Andrea Botez here.
All she's looking for is that big right hand, okay? So if you step into her range.
Now the coach there is saying all she's looking for is that big right hand, which she was, because it was the punch that was doing the most damage in the fight. She should have been setting up behind the jab a little bit more to have more success with it. And then he says you should step into her range, which I think he got his words muddled up there. He should have been saying keep out of range of that right hand and it'll not hit you, and then come back with your counter punches.
You ready? Boom, draw it out, counter. That right hand is trash. It's trash.
But then he should have said there, draw the right hand out and then counter, which is perfect. That's what Andrea needs to be doing, waiting for that big right hand to go over the top and then landing her. And he's saying that right hand is trash, giving her confidence, even though that's the punch that's doing the most damage in the fight.
You hit harder, you're longer, you're stronger, you work way harder.
Yeah, you hit harder, you're longer, you've worked way harder.
This is your time to take over. We need these rounds.
This is your time to take over. You need these rounds. That was great instructions from Andrea's corner.
And you heard him say this at the end of that instruction, we need this round. They obviously feel like Andrea might be down.
And again, Michelle throws that wild right hand because she's had success with it. She's looking for it. It would have been good to throw a couple of more jabs and then throw it. But guess what? This is her first fight. She's not Layla Ali.
Woo! Nice, both ladies jab. And Andrea's starting to find a home for it there, but a right hand.
More punches are landing from Michelle. She's putting them combinations together nicely now.
They're feeling the effects of this 5-round action. Nice counter there from Andrea Botez. Last 10 seconds. Let's see who can punctuate this round.
And look at that, at the end of the 4th round, Michelle is still playing their mind games. And both girls are getting tired now, but she's not showing it. She's still staring at it. She's still saying, I'm in this fight. Let's do it. And as well, she's got a bloody broken nose.
Hey, right here. Okay, breathe. Follow that right hand. Doing great. Set it up. Not everything's got to be a huge shot. Set it up, doubles and triples, right?
Perfect cornerman there. Set it up. Doesn't have to be a huge shot because Michelle is looking for that big right hand. Set it up behind the jab.
One more sit, breathe.
Breathe, he's calming it down, telling her what to do. Not giving her too many instructions where I've had cornermen in the past. All right, you need to do this, do that, do that, do that. And you're like, what? 1 or 2 instructions is great from a corner. And drilling that in, getting them to calm down and relax. And you heard Kevin's instructions there. Stop looking for the big punch. Get the right hand behind the jab. Breathe.
This is it right here. You're doing great, Michelle.
You're doing great. The confidence is there.
This is it right here.
This is where our winners will be made. This 5th and final round. Who's got what's left in the tank? And both girls coming out like an absolute firecracker here, round 5. Where did that energy come?
Now look at this. When they come out for the 5th and final round, there's 0 love lost here. And you watch the pace that they do come out. They come out, both of them, get to the center of the ring, combinations. Michelle lands a lovely right hand jab and goes forward again, then moves backwards. And then right there, boom, one of the best right hands of the fight. And look at me behind, so excited. That's why I can't really be commenting on this.
That is just still impressive, though.
My goodness. Oh, another jab there from Andrea. That lands.
Great right hand. Now look at this.
Back and forth we go. Highly contested.
Another big right hand. Lands again on the temple. So much respect for Andrea taking these punches.
Landing big shots.
Just misses another one.
Fire face again. Oh, another right hand from Michelle. 25 seconds left. Can Andrea turn the tide?
She'll need a knockdown in order to even make this one close.
Jab down the pipe. Continuing to work that jab. Andrea comes forward. Needs another jab for it. Shots to the body. There's 10 seconds.
As you can see now, the girls are getting really into it all the way through to the last bell. And Michelle with that broken nose continuing to fight. Hands up. Kev's been doing his weights there. Look at him picking her up there.
What a fight.
What a fight.
Smile in the picture. What are you talking about? Amazing. Good job, Michelle. Hey, hands up. Get your hands up.
And as you see in what Kevin and Michelle's corner said there, get your hands up, walk around. As if them judges are sitting here with their pens thinking who won. Oh, look at the confidence of that girl. She knows she's won compared to the opponent who's in the corner looking tired like she's lost. Even though I think Michelle was the clear winner, it's always good for you to put your hands up just in case them judges haven't been watching. Now, some things I want to finish off by saying. Getting in the ring and fighting is hard. Not everyone can do it. There's going to be a winner, there's going to be a loser. So people who do get in that ring, no matter what level it's at, you've got to take your hat off to them and respect that. Influencer boxing does get a lot of shit. Now, I know all influencers don't put the work in like Michelle did, and I know Andrea worked hard as well for this, but we've got to respect what they're doing. As I'm recording this, that video's got 1 million views. That's 1 million people's watching someone go through a boxing training camp who's never boxed before and then fighting. How good is that for the sport of boxing? Now, if you've never boxed before and you want to learn some boxing, you don't necessarily have to go to a gym to learn it. You can just click here, watch this video next, where I give you everything on learning how to box.